Hey everybody, welcome to the Wednesday Word. Today's Wednesday, this week's word, awesome. But let me tell you what happens on the Wednesday Word, just in case you've tripped into this and haven't been a part of any Wednesday Words prior. Every single Wednesday, hey, my name's David Bradley, training facilitator and coach with Grant Cardone. First powerful lesson I learned from Grant Cardone was this: selling is a conversation. Power comes from the words that you use. So on the Wednesday Word, what I like to do is I like to crack open a dictionary. I've got a nice long list of some words that are success themed and orientated. I want to look at the definition of these words. I want to look at the history of these words, where they came from, right? And then I want to take and make sure that you and we are fully understanding these words so that we can use them and plug them into and get results in our sales, our business, and our life. This week's word is something that I can say honestly that we are probably all way too proficient in for our own good. And most likely, it is something we've been diligently working on improving the skill set since early childhood. And it needs to stop like frickin' yesterday. Okay? You ready? Today's word. This week's word is excuse. Now, there is a verb version of this. There is also a noun version of this. Okay? The verb is the actual action of excusing someone, ergo from the table. But today we're actually going to be looking at the noun version of it, which is excuse, not to excuse. Even has a different pronunciation. Okay? This is the thing that you use to explain away all of your problems. So let's define the word specifically. The definition of excuse via Google and Webster. A reason or explanation put forward to defend or justify a fault or offense. Something offered as justification or grounds for being excused. The reason you should be excused. Excuses, which is plural, is an expression of regret for failure to do something. A note of explanation or absence. So the plural version of excuse is, those would be things like, my dog ate my homework. Okay? And then a note of explanation for an absent. Please excuse Dave from class today because. Okay? It's a justification. It's a reason. But let's crack open some history. Let's look at the origin of the word. Let's break it up a little bit. So the prefix of that word, the beginning, it's ex, E-X. And that means out of, from, and hence utterly, thoroughly, sometimes just meaning not or without. It's indicating maybe a former a title or a status. And so like ex-president, right? For example, ex-member. Okay? Extraterritorial is one of the examples they give in here. I don't even know what that means. But it means former. Okay? Literally, when you get into some of the Greek and Latin roots, excuse, excusa, is out, and then cusa would be a charge. So excusa, excuse, out, a charge. When you go to Wiktionary, this is interesting. Explanation designed to avoid or alleviate guilt or negative judgment, a plea offered in extenuation of a fault. You may need to look that word up if you didn't know what that means. A plea offered in extenuation of a fault. Okay? All right, so now that the word is defined, we understand the history of it a little bit. What are we going to do with this thing? Okay? So here's what I'm going to do. I would like to refer you to chapter 21 of Grant Cardone's book, The 10X Rule. Number 1, what is an excuse in reality? Excuses are never the reason, this is a quote from the book, by the way, excuses are never the reason for why you did or didn't do something. They're just a revision of the facts that you make up in order to help yourself feel better about what happened or didn't. An excuse is just an alteration of reality, nothing about it will move you to a better situation. Number 2, what should you ask yourself when you have an excuse? Quote from the book: slaves and victims make excuses and will forever be destined to having leftovers and scraps. So what to ask yourself? Number 1, am I a slave to something right now? Is it easier for me to just be a victim right now? 3, will any of these excuses I'm dishing out right now ever improve my condition? 4, if I couldn't use this excuse, then what's the reality of this situation? And 5, what am I going to do about it? And that leads us into number 3, which is what to do now. Okay? If you are going to approach success, this is another quote from the book. If you are going to approach success not as an option, but as your duty, obligation, and responsibility, then you must commit to never using excuses for anything. And this has been your Wednesday Word. Short, simple, sweet, to the point, in your face. Okay? So listen, the bottom line here is you must approach success in anything as a duty, as an obligation, and as a responsibility. And once you get to that place, then you will be in full empowerment to never, ever use excuses again as a reason for not improving your current situation. Okay? Thank you so much for listening. I'm going to leave you with the final words of Grant Cardone, which is this: be great, because nothing else pays. See you soon.